Hey guys, hope you're having an awesome day. So I snapped my skate deck the other week at the skate park doing a big fly out from the bowl. Yeah, bummer, hey. But I thought it'd be a good time to show you guys how to make up a custom grip tape for a new deck. So stick around and I'll show you the steps. Okay, so what you want to get yourself first of all is a blank deck. Like this. I got mine off eBay for probably about 30 bucks, 40 bucks. Have a look around, they're pretty cheap. I'm sure you can get hold of one somewhere. Next up, you're going to need some grip tape. Like this. Comes in all shapes and sizes. Choose the colour you like, just make sure it fits the deck, and you should be good to go. Next comes the fun part. Okay, so the next part is basically making a logo that looks rad and you're happy to have on your board riding around all day. What you want to do is jump onto Google, do a quick search for free fonts, there's stacks of websites out there, and find something that looks really good. Then knock it up, probably in something like Microsoft Word. Then you're going to need to do a trick, which is called mirroring the image. You want to make a mirror copy of the image so that you can use it as a stencil to cut out. I'll show you how to do that in a sec. Okay, now that you got your logo all sorted and you're happy with it, what you want to do is make a mirror copy of it to use as a stencil for cutting out. This part's pretty easy, but you're going to need a program to do it. I use a program called View. It's a free program and I'll put a link in the description down the bottom. Basically, knock it up in Word and get it ready to go, then hit the print screen button on your computer, go over to View and paste it in, like that, then go to Image Horizontal Flip, which is basically a mirror. You'll end up with a logo version that's just mirrored of what the original looked like. Okay, so now all you want to do is basically print out an A4 copy of that mirrored image you had on the screen. Once it comes out, it should look something just like this. And then we're down to the fun part, which involves sharp objects. Okay, so next up, you're going to want to tape down the grip tape to something you're happy to cut over. Word of advice, don't use your mum's dining table. You'll cop it for that. You're going to want to take your time with this bit so it looks as good as possible. Maybe even have a couple of band-aids spare for, you know, the obvious. You'll probably find you're going to have to press down pretty hard to cut through the grip tape. Make sure you've got a good sharp knife and don't stress too much if the logo starts to get hacked up on the top level. We're more concerned about the grip tape underneath, so try to imagine what you're cutting as nice straight lines that follow the logo despite the top getting all hacked up. In the end you can tidy it up, but do your best to follow the logo and it should come out pretty good. A little trick tip I've found for getting the curved edges and circles to come out good is you want to basically use the knife to press in like this and then press in hard rather than trying to drag it around a curve. It's much easier to make short little holes rather than trying to drag a perfect circle. Give it a try and you'll work it out as you go. Okay, so I'm probably about halfway through. I reckon it's probably taken me nearly 10 minutes, so really not that long. Take your time, you want it to come out as good as possible, and try not to use too many dragging motions. Instead, if you need to sort of use a stabbing motion to get the corners, use 5 stabs to get around a curve through the grip tape rather than trying to drag it through a curve, unless you've got a really super sharp knife. But I usually find the stabbing technique seems to get you a little bit sharper lines. Okay, so that's basically the logo all cut out. It's gonna look like a pretty big mess, but don't stress too much. As long as you did good cutting, it's the underside that we care about the most. So peel it off, and now comes the fun part, sticking it on. Okay, so now that you got the logo all cut out, spin it around, lay it on your blank deck, peel off the adhesive backing, get it in the right spot, and basically just flatten down that grip tape. I'll show you how to trim it off in just a sec. Okay, so basically once you got the grip tape on, what you want to do is run a knife around the edge, basically at an angle like this. Just cut along the edge. Don't stress out too much if you make a little bit of a mess, because we're going to file off the edges afterward to make it look good. But yeah, basically cut into the tape on about a 45-degree angle with a blade, and you'll trim it off all around the edges. Okay, so like I said, once you've trimmed it off, it may look a little bit crappy around the edges. Don't stress too much. Get yourself a nice flat wood file, and what you want to do is basically just file at a 45-degree angle around the edges. What this will do is trim off all the bad edges, make it look good and clean all the way around. Don't stress too much if it's not a work of art. After all, it's a skateboard. It's meant to be skated, not to hang on a shelf. Okay, so next up, you basically want to attach your trucks and wheels back to the deck. I find a good trick for poking the holes is a little drill bit for this bit. Poke it in, give it a little spin, and you find that on the other side, nice little holes pop through, all ready for your bolts to go through. Okay, so here's another cool little trick tip for you. I actually hate Allen keys. I reckon they're a really bad design. So what I've done is I've got an Allen key and basically cut it in half with a hacksaw to make it into a straight shaft. Once you've got that, you can basically just attach it into any normal drill and use that as you would normally an Allen key without having to wind it around with your fingers. Works really well. Okay, so there we are. Basically we're all done. Wheels are on, deck's all trimmed, ready to go. Now for the absolute most important part, testing. Okay, so that's about it, boys and girls. That's how you make a custom grip tape for your deck. Hope you enjoyed the tutorial. Comment below and let me know if you liked the video and I might make some more. Stay gold.